Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Great to see so many of you here. Just while we're waiting for others to filter in, I was wondering if you could use the chat just to pop in a number between 1 and 5, whereas 1 is you don't know anything about quality improvement, and 5 is where you're somebody who likes to teach other people to do quality improvement. There's 1s, 3s. Threes, that's good. Okay, so mixture of complete beginner to people who've got some experience and know what it's about, know some of the concepts, things that's good. Just waiting for a few more people to join. So while we're joining, I thought I would start off by telling you guys about my change story. What made me get interested in quality improvement in the first place? So I'm James, as you probably know. I'm a colorectal surgeon. And during my training as a surgeon, I came to realize that I think quality improvement is probably the single biggest thing that we can do as healthcare professionals and staff within healthcare for the thousands of patients that we are responsible for. So my story begins about 12 years ago. One of my patients nearly died, and I've not been the same ever since that patient came across my list. I was a trainee at the time, a vascular registrar, and there was an old lady with an acute ischemic leg. So she went to theatre and had a thrombectomy to take the clot out. And afterwards, she was on an infusion of heparin. It's a pretty standard thing. Quite a lot of patients on the vascular ward have it from time to time. But unfortunately, this lady overnight didn't get any blood tests to check the level of clotting. And the next morning on the ward round, I noticed that she had a low blood pressure, high heart rate, she was drowsy, she looked shocked, and a CT scan obtained urgently showed that she had a large blood clot hematoma in her retroperitoneum, which is behind the abdomen in the back. So she needed rapid resuscitation with lots of transfusions, went to ICU and also went to interventional radiology to have the bleeding stopped. So at that time, I had a choice. I could put it down to a simple mistake. Somebody forgot to do the blood test overnight, or maybe somebody was too busy, or maybe the nurses looking after her weren't aware of the needs of a patient on IV heparin, incompetence. So I could blame somebody for it, or I could actually go and speak to the people who are involved and just find out what happened. So I actually chose to do the second thing. And I realized after speaking to people that there were several factors that contributed to this error. And the most worrying thing is I realized that this problem was going to happen again. And if I just went and told the individuals, gave them some feedback so they didn't do it again, that would not stop future problems and future patients coming to harm. So a few months later, I just by chance got an email from my training body saying, would you like to go on this new course that the Open University is developing? And I didn't even know what it was. But all I knew is that I had to do something because I was a trainee. So I signed up for it, not quite knowing what it was. And it turned out that it was a course on quality improvement and clinical leadership. And that was doing that course was really when the lights went on for me. It was when I suddenly realized that to change things in healthcare and actually make things better for a whole section of patients rather than just the one in front of you, you need to make changes. But doing that is actually a science. It's actually a skill that's learned. It's not just something that we do through our own common sense. There's actually efficient ways to get a huge organization to make some changes that really work and that really stick. And that happened to me because my training body decided to invest in training people to learn how to improve the system around them, to lead and improve it. So that's why I decided when I joined here is this post that we need to also invest in our staff here in quality improvement. And I actually believe that quality improvement is our second job. So it's everybody's second job. And some of the best organizations I've seen actually write it into your job contract that you have to devote 20% of your time to quality improvement. And they write the rosters around that so that people have 1 day a week where they're not doing their usual job and they're off with the quality improvement team. Now, that would be a brilliant future if we could ever create it. Obviously, we're not there at all yet. So that's my story, how I came to quality improvement. You may all have different reasons why you've chosen to come onto this course, but I'm very glad that you're here. If I could just find out why you're here, if you could just put in the chat maybe one to 3 words of the reason why you are joining up and wanting to do this course on improvement. Understand best process for fostering change in the team. That's great. Yep. It's all about process, and this course has got lots of good, solid frameworks to use in the change process. Better ways to address resistance from team and make positive change. That's great because, you know, our organization is made up of people, and if you can't bring people along with you on the change journey, it's not going to happen. And the course has stuff on teamwork in there. Learn process, just wanting to know how to manage, improve, change things in the workplace. Clinical governance advisor, one of the cornerstones of the work I'm undertaking, like to leverage this course to get a better idea of the nuts and bolts behind the curtain. Yeah, so it touches on clinical governance and certainly touches on the people aspect of things. Learn about quality improvement and how I can use this in my role, empowerment for making positive change, taking the team along the journey with me. That's great. I get a sense that a lot of people have got an experience of how difficult it is to get a wave of change behind you and people involved and pushing past barriers and opening doors. And I've got a lot of experience on that. This course itself does touch on that, but there are other ways to go way, way deeper on that sort of people side change management aspect of things. And certainly that would be the next step after this course. You do need to know the nuts and bolts of the processes, the change models, using data and patient safety. But then once you've got that idea of what you want to do, how you want to do it, how you want to lead that change, that is definitely another thing to look at. And I've got some good resources on that. I can point you in the right direction, and I can also give you some really good advice. If you're at a particular moment in your project or whatever you're doing in your work, and you've come up against a sticky situation, you want some advice, please just email me or call me up, and I should be able to give you some nuggets that might help you get past your particular problem at that time. So yeah, please feel free to ask me. Okay, so the rest of this 30-minute session is really about orientating you to the course and how to access the modules and get learning. So I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go. So you should now be able to see my Outlook. I hope you don't mind, Edsel. I've just brought up the email that I sent you, which is just the welcome email that everybody gets when they come onto this course. So this is the email that starts you off. For people who are not got access to the DHB intranet, there is a PDF here attached. So that's people who are in WellSouth, for example. But the majority of you should be able to access the SharePoint site, and I would recommend you use that rather than the PDF. So everything you need to know is in the course details, which is this link. If you ever lose this link, just find any of the emails from me, go to the bottom, and you'll find this link here to the Improvement Academy. So I'm going to click on that just to show you what that is. This is where not only this course is hosted, but also a number of other adverts for leadership courses, for example, and other improvement things around the district that you can get involved with. So this is a good resource for all those things. For now, we're just going to go to the Open School, which is the course details. So this is the hub. This is everything that you need to get you going through the course and finished. So on the right-hand side, there's some handy things. The next event, for example, which is today's event, the orientation. And if you click on that, you'll see all the future events coming up, which is the other classroom sessions. And then there's 3 important links here, which you'll find out in a minute what they're for. So you've already done enrollment, so you don't need to worry about that. The next thing you'll need to do is set up your IHI account. This is where the learning platform is. It's housed by the Institute of Healthcare Improvement, which is hosted in Boston in the US. So if you ever need to call them up, you just need to remember they're about 4 hours ahead and 1 day behind. Not 4 hours ahead? No, they're 8 hours ahead, sorry. So to set up your account, you click on the link, ihi.org, and it will bring you to this thing. If you don't have an account already, then you need to create an account by clicking the link at the bottom, and that's pretty straightforward. What I do ask you do is you use the same email address that you used when you signed up. So that's basically the same email address that this came to. If you do need to use a different account, or you've got a previous IHI account which is under a different username, just let me know what that is, because I need to be able to link the data up in the background. Okay, so you sign in, and you will come to your education platform, which looks like this. Okay. So once you've done that part, you can then move on to finding the modules. Now, finding your way around the platform is not easy. It's a little bit counterintuitive. So I do suggest you follow these things, and if you're still having problems, just give me a buzz. So there are 2 ways to access each module. Oh, sorry, we skipped ahead, sorry. The first thing you need to do before you access the modules is actually enter in your access code. So that's the code that came in the email with you. And if you go to your education platform and you browse the catalog, once it's loaded, you will see up here, enter access code. And that's where you submit your access code. I'm not going to do it because I don't need to. But you submit that, and once that's submitted, it will mean that these buttons all change from being add to cart, which is meaning that you'll need to pay for it, and you obviously don't want to pay for it. We've already paid for it, so you'll see that changes to enroll. And once you see it's enroll, that means your access code is working. The access code works for 1 year, okay? But you can actually carry on doing any modules that you've enrolled in after that year is expired. So you just need to enroll in them. You don't need to complete them. You just need to enroll in those modules before the year is up. And then you have your lifetime to actually complete them. I hope you actually complete them within the year, but sometimes life happens. So now we're on to finding the modules. There are 13 different modules. So one way to find the modules, it's probably the easiest way, is this first way, is that you just, once you've logged into the platform, you just go down to the list that I've created here, which is the 13 modules on this thing, and you just click in there, and it will open it up at the right page for you so that you can then enroll. So this would say enroll once the code is put in. Once you've enrolled, it then it's not too obvious how you start it. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. But it's good to do that, as I said, for everyone straight off. So you're enrolled in the 13 modules right at the beginning, and therefore you lose access to it. Once you complete 13 modules, that's when you get the basic certificate. But you do get credits for each module that you do. So once you've added them to your learning center, to actually do the modules, then you need to go to your learning center. So you go over here to the learning center, and this is where your modules will be sitting, and it will show the ones that you need to do and the ones that you've already completed. Okay. If you think you've completed the module, but it's sitting here, it means that you've not managed to finish all the questions that were in that module. The modules have got quizzes and questions. And sometimes it's very easy to skip past the question and not fill it in. And then it's difficult to find which question you've not completed. And so it can be a bit frustrating with a module that you think you finished, but it's sitting here still in progress and trying to find out how to complete it. From past experience, I found that the best thing to do is to just go back to the very beginning of that module and just quickly skip through each page and then just answering each question again. They're easy questions, so you'll remember what the answers are. And although it's a bit tedious to go through every page again, it actually only takes about 5 minutes, and that usually finds the rogue question that was unanswered, and then you'll get a completed module. So that's a common thing. Okay, back to the email. So yeah, that's all about enrolling in the 13 modules, like I've said. If you don't manage to do one online module in the first month, we just need to know if you're having troubles or anything, or if you've changed your mind about doing the modules. We have a limited number of access codes, and if you've changed your mind, that's not a problem. And if you've not entered in the access code, then I'm able to give that to someone else on the waiting list. If you've enrolled in the modules, then the access code is used. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's just to say. So, okay, so back to the SharePoint site, just to orientate you further. I did say there was another way to access the modules, and that's by manually searching on the catalog. So if we go back to the catalog, I'll show you how to manually search, just in case you don't have access to that SharePoint site at the time. You go to Open School Courses, then you go to Open School English Full Access, Open School Full English Basic Certificate, and then that will show the 13 courses. 13 results. it actually only shows you 2, and then it wants you to click more results to actually get all of them showing up. Let me just wait for a bit. So then that should show all 13, and then you can click the enroll button. You see how it says enroll for these ones. So you just click enroll for all of them, and then that will then appear in the Learning Center, ready to go. So you can just click this button to launch it, and then it will launch the actual learning module for you. Okay, so this is a suggested schedule. You don't need to stick to this. You can do them all in one go. You can book off 2 full days of study leave and do them at home. That would be enough to do it. Or you can book off 4 half days, for example. There are classroom sessions that also go along with the modules. They are optional. They help embed the learning. They go over the same stuff. They don't introduce anything new. But the main difference is that I'm lecturing, so I give you my personal experience and lots of little anecdotes and things like that to help understand the topic a bit more. Plus, there is the opportunity to ask questions about anything you're unsure of, plus any questions about your particular project work that you're having problems with. You'll see that some of the months don't have any classroom sessions, and that's just to give people a break, really, because just to give you a break, really. So that's it for the year. It's totally doable within a year, that's for sure. So the classroom sessions, when are they scheduled? They're usually on a Friday lunchtime towards the end of the month. Sometimes I have to move them if there are commitments, but I will try and give advance notice. But all the days are scheduled here for the whole of the year. So you can use this button down here to add them to your Outlook calendar in advance. But you also get an email about a week in advance, a calendar invite just to remind you. If you don't manage to come to them and it's not suitable for everybody that time of the day, I'm sorry about that. I can't find one for everybody that's suitable for everybody. I do upload it onto YouTube, usually the same day, and then you'll be able to view the video there. The YouTube link is here. The Zoom classroom, so that's where we hold them on Zoom. It's the same one that you're on at the moment, so it's the same one every time. If you lose the link, it will just find any old link and it will work. It's also here up on the right-hand side. When it comes to continue the code after the access code expires, as I said, make sure you enroll in the 13 modules, and then you can carry on after that access code expires. And just let me know that you're continuing. Usually you will get a survey. Usually you'll get a little question come out around about January time saying, do you want to continue? And you just click yes, and then that will happen automatically. But if that doesn't work for you, then you can just send me an email. And then in terms of finishing the course, well, you get credits for each module. And once you've done the 13 modules, you get a basic certificate. This gives you the instructions on how to download it. It can be a little bit, people kind go, where is it? And basically it's this little link up at the top of your learning center to print your certificates. Let me show you in here. So it's this little link up here that you click to print your certificates. There's more help on how to get the basic certificate. It's 17.75 hours of accredited learning. Most of the accreditation is with actually American institutions, but when it comes to selecting what accreditation is, you can just put the general one or whatever you think suits best. It doesn't actually matter because the credits are the same. You can also forward your certificates to training email, and then they will actually upload the recognition onto Employee Connect for you, so you can actually get DHB recognition or district recognition for it. So as I said, people can get stuck from time to time. The commonest problems are getting into the system. If you've lost your password, the password reset doesn't work, which can happen. There are issues with that. Then you have to actually send an email to IHI, or you can call them. If you're not getting a response on the email, sometimes they're not that responsive, especially with the time difference. Just remember that probably the best time to try and call them is in the morning, our morning before about 10, because that will work out about 4 o'clock in the evening for them. So password resets, unfortunately, I can't do it myself. It needs to be IHI. But any other problems, they're listed here. But if you can't find the answer, just drop me an email and I'll point you in the right direction. So that's pretty much the orientation to the course. Does anybody have any questions? I've got some things up here in the chat, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask as well. So somebody asked, would you suggest doing all in 1 to 2 days, or better learning over a period of time to allow practical application and reflection? That's a good question. I would say that if you've got a project on the go that you might want to do 4 or 5 modules together, because, for example, in the quality improvement section, the QI modules, which I think there's about 5 of that, each module kind of introduces one concept. So, for example, one would be an introduction, and then the next one would talk about the model for improvement, which then you might use on a particular part of the project. And then the next bit will talk about data and how to interpret it. And actually, it's quite useful to maybe do all those modules so you know where you're kind of roughly headed with your project, get on with your project, and then you might want to come back and then actually refer to the material to actually plan out your project with the model for improvement. So yeah, I would say if you got a block of time, probably do about those 5 modules and then get on with some project work, and then come back and do the patient safety side of things, because those are fairly separate. And you can notice the difference in the topics. So that the modules are based, QI is the quality improvement modules, PS is the patient safety modules, and then there's a couple of other modules on the side about other topics around the edges. Any other questions? Wonderful. Well, I won't keep up any more of your Friday. I'm very happy to have you all on this course. I think it is a fantastic course. I've done it myself, and it really is something that can change your whole perspective on healthcare and how to improve it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing how you're getting on. If you've got any problems at all, just drop me a line. Okay? Cheerio. Bye.